This is the FDE platform, an enterprise deployment operating system. The screenshots use one Meridian deployment as the example, but the model is broader. Procurement, EHS, a regulated capability, a data or AI program. The problem is always the same. Customer needs start in conversations. Engineering happens in repos and agent tools. Production runs through environments, and the evidence is scattered across all of it. FDE connects that chain. The central idea is simple. This isn't a collection of screens, and it isn't trying to replace the systems you already use. FDE creates the governed chain between them. Customer truth stays connected to product intent to what engineering is authorized to build, engineering to release and production back to evidence and learning. Most deployment failures happen at those handoffs. FDE makes the gaps visible and governable. It starts with conversation intelligence, and the value isn't transcription, it's structured execution context. A customer saying we approve only if every transaction is traceable and production recovers within an hour isn't a meeting note. It shapes acceptance criteria, architecture, testing, and operations. By keeping the discussion as a source record, we can later answer the hard question, why did we build this and what customer expectation was it meant to satisfy? A deployment shouldn't begin with code, it should begin with a credible investment decision. This business case makes cost, benefit, ROI, and approval readiness visible alongside risks and dependencies. Notice the blocked gate. That's a feature, not a defect. It tells leadership a number isn't yet supported strongly enough to become an approved commitment. The economic logic is visible before any engineering capacity is consumed. This is where product intent becomes a time-bound commitment. Capacity, committed and completed work sit together. Sprint 08, 30 of 30 points complete, and remediation stays in the same planning context, not off the books. The platform point, FDE doesn't compete with your sprint planning, it consumes it. A forward deployed team moves fast, but speed shouldn't sever the connection to capacity, ownership, and planned work. The deployment control plane is the center of the model. A deployment is the field system of record. It binds the customer, the business problem, the desired outcome, success criteria, and owners. And from it, you navigate to missions, systems, architecture, data, repos, environments, health, incidents, and traceability. It isn't another dashboard. It's one stable identity everything attaches to, keeping many accounts and environments separate, governed, and auditable. The engineering contract is one of the most important governance objects here. It defines what implementation is authorized right now, repository, base branch, approved spec, path boundaries, and the linked initiatives, projects, and work items. This is how FDE stops a broad customer goal from becoming an open-ended coding instruction. It narrows intent into accountable scope, and it collects the PR, commit, and run evidence of what actually changed. Deployment-aware agents get context before they execute. The operator picks a deployment, role, mission, environment, repository, and policy, then gives a goal and explicit acceptance criteria, very different from pasting a customer request into a general-purpose coding agent. The platform doesn't assume the agent is trustworthy because it's powerful. It makes scope, policy, and acceptance criteria explicit before the run is ever created. Change orchestration is the control, promotion record, source and target environments. Readiness, the change set, approval gates, execution state and rollback, all visible. Preflight compares the target and surfaces blockers before execution. Approvals stay attached to the run, and if rollback is needed, the lineage stays part of the same deployment story. That's the difference between deploying software and governing a customer production change. 00 health score, telemetry references, and the incident section. Production health is materialized into the customer environment without a new monitoring stack. SLOs stay canonical, telemetry stays in your observability platform, and FDE records applicability to this service instance. Here a 96 health score with Grafana and open telemetry references. It's the compositional principle in action. Your existing tools stay the source. FDE connects that evidence to the deployment outcome. Incidents are part of the deployment lifecycle, not an afterthought. This links the canonical product incident to the affected service instance, the runbook execution, and the remediation run without duplicating the incident record. The result is a traceable answer to what happened, which deployment was affected, what recovery was taken, and whether the fix went through governed controls. Here, the reference data registry timeout is resolved without releasing incorrect calculations. Next, the final control question: is the evidence chain complete enough to prove the life cycle? This is where the model becomes provable. The graph traverses from customer evidence and problem context through requirements, architecture, engineering, release, deployment, validation, operations, and outcome, and it shows the coverage gaps rather than hiding them. This Meridian deployment, 58 nodes, 78 semantic edges, 88% average lifecycle coverage. For an audit or a customer assurance conversation, it answers both directions. Trace forward from the original need to production and backward from any production artifact to the business reason and approval that created it. Field to product intelligence spots patterns that recur across deployments and decides whether they stay customer specific or become reusable product. Without this, successful field teams accumulate a portfolio of one-offs that get expensive to maintain. Seen once, an issue stays local. Seen across several customers, it's a product gap backed by occurrences, evidence, and product fit scores and promoted deliberately, not by intuition. Next, that's the whole loop. Here's what it proves. The pitch comes down to four claims. 1. Customer truth isn't lost when work moves into product and engineering. 2. Your systems of record stay canonical. FDE composes them, it doesn't create another silo. 3. Engineering and agent execution are bounded by deployment context, contracts, policy, and evidence before they can touch production. 4. The result is provable and recyclable. Health, incidents, traceability, economics, and field to product learning all feed the next decision. That's what makes FDE an enterprise deployment operating system, not just a tracker, an agent UI, or a dashboard, but the governed layer that connects them around one customer deployment.